Hey everybody, Crazy Cricket back again with another video today. In today's video, I'm doing a video of my Dubia cockroaches. So in this video, I'm going to be going over some care tips and some things about Dubia roaches in general. So that's what this video is going to be about. First, I'm going to say this is not a permanent cage. This is just a cage that I'm keeping them in at the moment. It's a small critter keeper, and I'm just keeping them in here for the time being as I'm trying to get them to breed. And then when they have their babies, I'll move them to something bigger, which I'm actually going to be moving them to something bigger here real soon. This is kind of just an experiment I done because the place I order my crickets from and my worms was having a sale on Dubia roaches. It was 10 females and 5 males, I believe. A little breeding pack. So I decided to get them and do a little experiment on them and keep them at room temperature and see if they would breed and see if they would start a little colony. And so I would just keep them in this cage, and believe it or not, they had babies about 2 days ago. So I will be moving them to something a little bit bigger. But yeah, I actually did lose. Well, they sent me an extra female, and I lost a female and I lost a male. So I basically have 10 females and 4 males, 14 roaches in here, and other adults, and then I have about 20 to 30 nymphs, newborns. So first I'm going to talk about the cage. It doesn't have to be super big, as this cage right here is perfectly fine for, you know, just a few, like about 10 to 15 roaches. You want to make sure you have escape-proof lid. This, I haven't had any problems because they can't climb, so the nymphs can't really get out of here. But if they could climb, I don't know, I'd say they'd probably get out of here. So yeah, I would recommend to start with at least a large critter keeper, like with a heat pad, if you want them to live longer and breed. Like if you want them to actually breed and stuff, you want to feed them lots of fruits and you want to have lots of heat. Like you want to keep them really warm, like warmer than room temperature for them to breed. If you cool them down, that keeps them from breeding as much. So yeah, I would say at least a large or extra large critter keeper to start with, and then a heat pad if you want them to breed. But yeah, or you can use like a Rubbermaid bin, like a plastic storage tote with holes drilled in it that are small enough where the bugs can't get out, or the roaches, and it's big enough to hold a lot more, and it's a lot cheaper usually. So, or you can always use an aquarium. Doesn't matter really what you use, as long as there's space for them to move around, and as long as they can't get out. So that's basically the key facts about these Dubia roaches. So if you're wanting to breed them, usually you want, for Dubia roaches, you're going to want 1 male to about 3 to 5 females. You can actually even have up to 10 females to 1 male, as the females are very important and the males can get very territorial. The females are the ones that are going to have the babies, of course. So you're going to want to have a lot more females than males. And also, if there's not enough females, the males will pick on the females constantly, the same female. If you only had a male and a female, they would pick on each other. Like the male would pick on the female all the time to try to get her pregnant. So you're going to want to get a lot more females, so it'll take longer for them to, so that they can rotate through the females before they repeatedly try to mate with the one female. So, yeah. And so, usually the best colony ratio is 1 male to 3 females. So, if you want to get a colony, like start a basic good sized colony, I would suggest 10 females, or no, 10 males and 30 females to start the breeding colony. And if you want to get a few large nymphs, maybe 25 to 50 of them to grow into adults. So as the adults get older, and as they start breeding stuff, you'll have new adults to replenish the colony. So I would recommend getting some large size nymphs as well to start a healthy colony. Next, I'm going to talk about the food. Now, I feed them a few different things. As you can see, have apple slices in there, and then I have a jelly mix right there, clear gel, and this is a lot of waste. I just put food in there yesterday, so I need to put more food in, but there's like a powder, high calcium, like a cricket diet, and they really seem to like it. I also give them oats sometimes. And I'm gonna stop the video and I'm gonna get the stuff that I feed them. So the product I like to use is this aquaculture high calcium cricket diet, quality diet for crickets and other feeder insects. And even the crickets really love this stuff. I feed it to my roaches and I feed it to crickets. I even feed it sometimes to superworms. Everything likes this food, and it's worth about $3, about $2.97. And you can just pick this up at your local grocery store that sells pet products, or you can get another brand which is made by Flukers. I think they have it in a little bit bigger jar, and it's about $5-6 at your local pet shop or like your chain stores. And yeah, it's about the same type of stuff. I've never tried it before. I've only used this stuff. So yeah, I feed them this, and then let me pause the video, and then I'm gonna come back and show you the water crystals I feed them. Oh, also I forgot to say, for feeding, also you can feed them like different types of fruits, vegetables. You can feed them bread, crackers. You can feed them I fed them croutons before. You can feed them different things. You can even feed them probably cookies. Like, you can feed them just about anything. Roaches will eat just about anything. I wouldn't feed them all kinds of junk food if you're gonna, especially if you are gonna feed them to your other animals, because then they're gonna get all that bad stuff. So I would say stick with fresh fruits, vegetables like lettuce, no iceberg lettuce, just romaine, red leaf, green leaf, stuff like that. Kale, mustard greens, collard greens. You can feed them cabbage, a little bit of cabbage. You can feed them tomatoes. You can feed them carrots, cucumbers, broccoli, celery. You can feed them apple, carrots, potato. Potatoes, big ones. Sweet potatoes, squash, yams, grapefruits, oranges, lemons, limes. You can feed them melons. You can feed them pineapple, plums, grapes, different berries. You can feed them just about anything. Cherries, bananas, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I give them all different things. I make them a variety of foods. and they like to eat it, so that's how I take care of them. So my water crystals are actually in here. They're very wet in here because I put a little too much water. They're getting to the end. I made up a new batch of water gel, but unfortunately I can't find the bag of water crystals at the moment. I think I know where they are, but I don't know. I haven't looked for them yet. I don't need them really right now, but I'll have to dig them out. But right now I just have them ready made in this jar. It looks really wet, but if you can see, as you can see, I'm gonna get some out. I'll probably put some in the cage at some point and put more in the cage. It's like this. You can get it in different sizes, but it's like a gel and it absorbs water. You get them dry and they absorb the water, and then you feed them to your roaches or crickets or other feeder insects. It's a not dry, it's a water source, but it's not like still water that they could get stuck in. You can buy this at a you can buy it at like a grocery store, sometimes like in the garden section, or at like a home improvement store. You might be able to buy it, but yeah, you'll be able to buy it different places. I get it online. You can also buy it already made in a jar at your pet shop, your local pet shop, or your chain stores, anywhere, any pet shop or anywhere that's gonna like really sell cricket supplies or pet supplies or whatever. Fluker's makes it, Zilla makes it. There's another company that makes it. I'm trying to think of what it is. There's Nature Zones. There's might be other companies that make it. I'm not 100% sure, but you can buy it anywhere that sells stuff like for crickets. It's like a cricket gut load. It'll be colored at the store. They put a dye in. They put like vitamins and stuff in it. So whatever. So when you feed them to your feeder, when you feed your feeder insects, you feed to your animals. The animals will get the stuff that you feed to your feeder insects. So yeah. Now, what I'm going to talk about is temperatures. Now, these are kept at room temperature. I keep them on top of, believe it or not, my fish tank. I keep it on my fish tank hood, and I keep it next to like the light, so it kind of gets a little bit of heat maybe off the light, but that's all it gets. And yeah, they can be kept at room temperature. They can also be kept at a higher temperature to keep them breeding, to get them breeding, but then cool them down to get them to stop breeding. So yeah, I'd say between room temperature, as long as it doesn't get below 68, probably that'll probably be fine. As long as it stays about, if it's so like for breeding, you're gonna want them to be about 80 or maybe 78 to 82 to 84 degrees, maybe a little bit higher, not too high, around 80 to 84 degrees probably would be best for breeding. And then if you keep it lower, it'll slow down the breeding, but they'll still live as long as they don't get too cold. So yeah, now I'm actually gonna pick them up and hold them and show them to you. Now I just keep a little piece of egg carton in there. And as you can see, there's a small colony of roaches in here. It looks a little more babies than last time. So I have a bunch of adults. I have 14 adults, and then I actually have several babies, like lots of babies, like several dozen babies. About 3 to 4 dozen. I'm trying to figure out where they're at, but I can't exactly find them. They're about 2 to 4 days old, probably, these babies. These are called nymphs. Baby roaches are called nymphs. As I did do a video in the past of my hissing roaches, these are a different kind. These are the Dubia, and they stay a lot smaller. And they can live up to 2 years. The females can. The males only live around a year. These are what the babies look like of the Dubia. So yeah, I got probably about, maybe... I'm gonna try to shake out the egg carton. I would say I got probably about 30 babies, maybe. And they'll continue to breed once a month or once every other month to give birth around 30 babies, 20 to 30 babies. So yeah, I think that's it. I don't really know. You can feed these to your reptiles, your lizards, your frogs, your toads. You can feed them to your newts, salamanders, turtles. I think that's it. You can feed them to your hedgehogs, your exotic animals, your Brazilian short-tailed opossums, your different types of animals like that. But a lot of different animals eat them. You can feed them to your arachnids. That's something I forgot. Tarantulas, scorpions. You can feed them to centipedes, vinegaroons, mantis or mantises. You can feed them to predatory beetles. You can feed them to a lot of different things. But these are pretty cool. I have had some in the past, but I unfortunately didn't take very good care of them, and I could never breed them right. And I was planning on never buying crickets again, and it failed, and I started to have to keep buying crickets again. So I am starting this as just a side project, just to see how they do, see how well I can keep them alive. So yeah, I am moving them to a bigger cage very soon, maybe even in the next day or two. Like, they need a bigger space. So yeah, I think that's about it. I hope you like this video. If you'd like to see any other videos of my roaches or any of my other animals, if you could, leave it down in the comments down below. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, if you could, leave it down in the comments down below too. Also, if you have any video suggestions for any upcoming videos, if you could, leave it down in the comments down below as well. And don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Until next time, take care.